Hello and welcome to our new video lesson for today. Actually, I'm planning last time for having another revised video lessons in Filipino. But for the meantime, dahil nakagawa naman na ako nung nakarang taon, I guess iba namang video lessons ang aking gagawin. And this could be the first time that I will make English 9. Well then, let's start for this. So, at this point, we'll go on through our first topic for this day, which is differentiating biases from prejudices. So, at this point, I've already taught this topic to the students in grade 9. For the meantime, let's think about this for a moment. Biases, prejudices. What on earth was that for? An individual person has full of beliefs, identities, styles, characteristics, talents, and more than make him or her unique. And an individual does not want to be labeled just by his or her race, or ethnicity, religion, or even gender. But as intricate as an individual perceives himself or herself to be, he or she defines other individuals merely by his or her most distinct social group. And while an individual might all like to believe that he or she is rational, fair, and logical, ironically, it is a sad fact that an individual is constantly under the influence of prejudices and biases that affect his or her own beliefs, distort his or her way of thinking, and sway his or her decisions and judgments he or she makes each day. As we all know, if we watch some videos, if we have listened to some of the podcasts, and you name it, whether we like it or not, there are many biases and even prejudices that happen in our world today. Even in the ancient times, we can hear some topics about some people were being discriminated because of their race, their gender, their religion, their philosophy, you name it. Now, let us identify the differences between biases and prejudices so that we may know what are those. Okay? First is bias. It is a tendency to lean in a certain direction, either in favor of or against a particular thing. So, be truly biased means to lack a neutral viewpoint on a particular topic. Somewhere along the line, bias took on a negative connotation. Also, it refers to a disproportionate weight in favor of or against a person, an idea, or thing, usually in a way that is close-minded, prejudicial, or unfair. Simply put, it's the tendency to favor one person, group, thing, or point of view over another, often in an unfair way. Remember the word unfair. If we look these examples, you will see the obvious bias here. The first one is a company hires a man over a more qualified woman. Why a company hires a man over a more qualified woman? Is it because there is some sort of bias in company towards men and against a woman, even though that said woman is more qualified? The point to example here is this: a female teacher gives more attention to girls. Well, it is obvious that in this example, this teacher gives more attention to girls than to boys. You see, the given example shows how biased the company and the female teacher are because they favor one specific gender over the other. The company knows exactly the qualifications and the ability of the woman applicant to perform based on the submitted credentials and resume. But since most of its employees are used to work well with a man employee, It prefers to hire a man over a woman. On the other hand, the female teacher gives more attention to girls even though she knows that her boy pupils are well disciplined too. She becomes biased because as a teacher, she is expected to be fair with all of her pupils whether male or female, and yet she favors the girl pupils more because they have the same gender. Now, if a person or an organization favors one over the other when it is expected from him or her or whatever it is to be equal, it only demonstrates biasness. You see, if you look at other examples like these, it is very obvious that there is some sort of a biases here. Whether you're a man or a woman, whether you are a child or an adult, whether you have some sort of some views or whatever it is. You see, it is very sad to say also that even those people who live their former lives before, it's very it's very sad to say that even some people who had their mistakes in life before, then they decided to renew their lives for good and do the right thing. Even other people who hold in their beliefs as well. There are people who experience biases because of this. Well, whether we like it or not, ironically, every one of us has biases. But here's the question that we might have to ask. Are these biases correct? This is what we must have to analyze and reflect. Now, what about prejudice? It refers to an affective feeling towards a person based on their perceived group membership. The word is often used to refer to a preconceived, usually unfavorable evaluation of another persona based on the person's political affiliation, sex, gender, beliefs, values, social class, age, disability, religion, sexuality, race, ethnicity, language, nationality, complexion, beauty, height, occupation, wealth, education, criminality, sports team affiliation, or other personal characteristics. Simply put, it is already a prejudgment or preconceived opinion that is not based on facts, personal experience, or reason that may result to discrimination. In other words, it refers to a preconceived opinion or feeling toward a person based solely on their affiliation with a group. This feeling may be translated into action by discriminating against the person or members of the target group. So as you can see the following examples, it's very sad that there are some groups experience prejudice even in schools. Those people who are being victimized, who are became victims of bullying and some sort of harassment. Or there are others who experience prejudice because of the issue of beliefs or belief system, so to speak. Maybe it was talking about race, about the height, the weight, you name it. Even those people who have disabilities became victims of this prejudices. So you have seen those following examples. Maybe it was about nationality, the race, religion, you name it. I would like to highlight this one before we end our discussion. Remember, bias talks about who is in favor to or against it. Prejudice, on the other hand, focuses on the what was called prejudgment, or you are already judging these people without even knowing who really they are. And also, even though this lesson is English 9, Maybe this lesson will be a lesson to all of us who are listening, especially to you students, that even though we have biases in others, we must have to recognize what are their beliefs, what are their beliefs, what are their point of view, and many more. And for this, we can analyze what will be the biases that we can see in life. Yes, we know that we have biases and prejudices, but I think now is the time for us to be reminded to ourselves what we must have to do, especially in what our Lord says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Well, that's all for our discussion, and I think that's a hard topic to present in this video lesson. And this is the first time that I am discussing this one. Although I did not I did not teach the first 2 quarters. If the Lord wills, I will go on to do it as a whole. But for now, I will focus the video lesson on 3rd quarter right now. Moreover, I hope in our next few days, next few weeks, we'll go on to discuss other topics in English 9. So that's all for now. Thank you guys for listening, and see you in our next lesson.